Now we're going to have our boneless shad that you saw earlier, and we're going to stuff it with its roe. This is really probably the #1 recipe that you'll see out of this whole tape series. We thought that this one is just a way to go. Most people try to take and boil the fish to dissolve the bones and then cook it, but believe me, they ruin all the flavor by doing it that way. What we're going to do is we're going to start off with the filet with all the bones out. Then we're going to take our roe, we're going to saute that down, cook it with the bell pepper, celery, and onions. We're going to come back where we remove the bones. We're going to fill it with our stuffing. And then we're going to put it in the oven and we're going to broil it. We're going to top it off with a little butter and lemon juice and some bacon. And believe me, it's the best thing you'll ever put in your mouth. First thing we want to do is take a little of this butter. Put a little in the frying pan. The bell pepper, celery, and onions. We'll saute that down till it's tender. Okay, now while that's cooking, we'll give it out a couple of minutes, then we're going to add our roe. Okay, now we're going to add our shad roe. Once this gets browned off to about 80%, we're going to finish cooking it in the shad itself. Keep stirring that around till everything's cooked good and even. Come in on top of this now. We're going to add our Progresso seasoned breadcrumbs. As you can see, when we finish this recipe, this 1/2 that we'll end up stuffing will give us a good bit of return, and we'll have a good 3 servings out of it because it is such a rich fish. Now we're just going to open up these cavities and just fill this up. We'll come back, we'll top it off, put it back in the oven, and we're going to broil it until it turns golden brown. When I was a kid, I remember making a delivery one time for my dad to Augusta, Georgia, and in so doing, I happened to be delivering to a market there where Mimi Eisenhower used to buy her seafood, and there were some Secret Service agents there at the time, and they didn't know exactly what she wanted. Meanwhile, next thing I knew, I was in the middle of a limousine talking to Mimi Eisenhower, and throughout our conversation I found out that the shad that we used to ship to them in Augusta was going to a neighbor of theirs and then to her. Their favorite fish to order from Russo Seafoods was the boneless shad. Okay, now that we've stuffed this filet, we want to come back. We want to take and put some fresh lemon juice on top. And you want to sprinkle it with a little bit of paprika. Kind of helps brown it out a little bit. Gives a little bit of color that it doesn't normally have. It's kind of a bland looking fresh fillet. And now what we want to do is we want to put this in the oven. Put some strips of bacon on top. And we broil this until your bacon is cooked and everything else will be ready. As you can notice from that row, we had plenty of stuffing left over to do another large half. And this is a medium-sized fish at this point, but we could have done 2 large fillets and served at least 6 people. Come back, and if you'd like, put a little butter right down the center. And now we're going to put it in our oven, and we're going to bake it for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to turn the broiler on to brown out the top of the bacon, and it'll be finished. Okay, now our shad is finished broiling. We baked it and we turned the oven on to broil it. It's browned off on the top. As you can see, that bacon's cooked down, and that's very, very, very good. Set this here just a second. Now we're going to see if we can slide this off all in one tack. It's very important when you do the shad that you have the pan well greased. If we try to keep it where it doesn't tear up. Oh, couldn't have turned out any better. I hope you'll try that and not be scared of the boneless roast shad, because you really find out that you've come across a delicacy when you do. Thank you.